Hi, everyone. This is SAP FICO Training. Within SAP FICO, we're going over internal orders. Within internal orders, we are covering actual postings and periodic allocations. Today's date is November 27th, 2024. As you all know, I like to provide the information here in question answer format. If these videos are helping you with your SAP FICO journey, please like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment in the chat. Let me know how many years of SAP FICO experience you have. Our agenda is periodic. The first is settlement, then periodic reposting. Okay. Question. After setting a budget for internal orders, what happens next? You can start accumulating costs to them. Where do postings to internal orders come from? Integrated postings to logistics and financial accounting, where the cost object is the internal order. What is the big difference between an internal order and a cost center? An internal order is a transitional cost object that is settled to another cost settling object in the end. Focus. Settlement. What is a settlement? An important function of internal orders accounting that allows you to allocate the costs accumulated on an internal order to other predefined receivers. What is a prerequisite to settling an internal order? Maintain a settlement rule in the order that specifies receivers of the costs and their share. Let's add a settlement profile to an internal order. Menu path to change internal order by adding a settlement profile. Accounting controlling internal orders, order master data, special functions, order, change. Enter the internal order number. Select settlement rule from the top menu. That brings you to this screen, which shows the settlement rule definition. Category. The category of the settlement receiver. The available categories depends on the settlement profile that will be configured shortly. Settlement receiver. The receiver cost object. In this example, we provided two different cost centers. Percentage. The share of costs to the receiver. The share of costs the receiver should receive during the settlement. If only one receiver is specified, this value is 100%. Equivalence number. With this number, costs are distributed to settlement receivers in proportion to the equivalence numbers defined in this column. Settlement type. You can use full or periodic settlement. With full settlement, you settle each time all the unsettled costs that have occurred for a sender object for all the periods prior to the settlement. Source assignment. So it's probably this one. Allocates costs by defining the assignment of debit cost elements as a receiver. Number. Sequential number of receivers. From period and to period. From period fiscal year and to period fiscal year. Use these fields to limit the validity during duration of a settlement rule. Let's look at the configuration settings required for settlement. Menu path to define a settlement profile. Controlling internal orders, actual postings, settlement, maintain settlement profiles, choose maintain settlement profiles. This is a list of settlement profiles defined in the system. Double-click overhead costs to review its settings. Settlement profile. A code and a description of the settlement profile. Actual cost / cost of sales. Here you specify if settlement is mandatory, optional, or not possible. Default values. In this section, you will enter a default allocation structure, source structure, profitability analysis, transfer structure, and object type. These structures are controlling tools for defining allocation cost elements in various controlling components. Ballot receivers. Here you specify if various cost objects can receive settlement and if it's mandatory to receive settlement for this settlement profile. This section defines the possible receivers in the internal order settlement rule screen. Still talking about ballot receivers. For example, the general ledger account is marked as settlement not allowed, so you won't see the general ledger account as a valid receiver in the order type Z400 that has settlement profile of 20. Scroll down. 100% validation. When selected, the system will issue a warning if the total to be settled is different from 100%. If not set, you will get a warning only if the total is more than 100%. Percentage settlement. If you select this indicator, the system will issue a warning if the total to be settled is different from 100%. If not set, you will only get a warning if the total is more than 100%. Equivalence numbers. When selected, you can define distribution rules and the settlement rule based on proportionately settled costs. Amount settled. When selected, you can define distribution rules and the settlement rule according to which costs are settled by amount. Variances to costing based profitability analysis. When selected, variances are settled to costing based profitability analysis. Document type. The default document type for settlement runs relevant for accounting. Maximum number of distribution rules. The maximum number of allowed distribution rules. Residence time. Here you define the residence time for settlement documents in calendar months. Let's maintain settlement number ranges. Menu path to maintain number ranges for settlement. Controlling internal orders, actual postings, settlement, maintain number ranges for settlement documents. Note, the number range object for settlement is this guy. This guy. Click Edit Intervals. For settlement, normally one number range is required as shown here. Green arrow back to the previous screen and select the Change Groups icon from the top menu. Here, you assign your controlling area to the number range. If your controlling area shows in the non-assigned elements section of the top on the top of the list, click it, then select Assign Element Group from the top menu. Select Group 01. Controlling area A000 has been assigned to Group 01. Let's see how to settle internal orders. Menu path to settle individual internal orders. Accounting, controlling internal orders, period end closing, single functions, settlement KO88, individual processing. Menu path to settle multiple internal orders collectively. Accounting, controlling internal orders, period end closing, single function, settlement, collective processing. This is the collective settlement screen. You need to set up a variant to specify the selections of the orders. You can create, change, or edit with the buttons provided. Create, view, edit. You can also set up variants from the configuration menu. Menu path to set up variants. Controlling internal orders, actual postings, settlement, define selection variants for settlement. Enter a name for your variant, then click the Create button. Name, create. Here, you define the criteria for selecting internal orders. That concludes settlement. For our final topic, let's cover periodic reposting in actual postings and periodic allocations for internal orders. Periodic reposting. What is periodic reposting? A method of allocating costs from internal orders that enables you to transfer costs posted on an internal order based on rules defined in allocation cycles rather than fixed settlement receivers. What technique does periodic reposting use? The cycle segment technique. Let's create a periodic reposting. Menu path to create a periodic reposting. Controlling internal orders, actual postings, define periodic repostings. Select create actual periodic reposting. Here you specify a cycle name and start date. Cycle name, start date. This option is available to copy an existing cycle in the copy from section. Copy from section. Click execute to proceed to the next screen. Start date and to date. Start date, to date. The start date and end date which define the validity of the cycle. Text. A meaningful long description of the cycle. Iterative. This indicator enables iterative sender/receiver relationships. In this case, the iteration is repeated until each sender is fully credited. Cumulative. If you select this indicator, the sender amounts posted are allocated based on tracing factors, which are cumulated for all periods. Derive functional area. When selected, the functional area proposed in the cycle definition for the receiver is ignored, then derived again. Field groups. Generally, only amounts in the controlling area currency are used in periodic allocations. However, you can choose other types of currencies in this section. Select Attach Segment. At least one segment must be attached. Before attaching the segment, it is defined here. These fields are the same as the cost-centered distribution cycle, so we won't explain them again in detail here. As sender objects, specify the internal orders as shown here. Specify the internal orders as shown here. Okay. Now let's execute the cycle. Menu path to execute allocation cycle. Accounting, controlling internal orders, period end closing, single functions, KSW5 periodic reposting. You must specify the period and year of the execution. Period. Year. Normally, reposting cycles are to be run on a monthly basis as part of period end closing. Select the cycle, execute it, first in test, next in real mode. Here's test. When you don't have it test, that's real mode. That concludes periodic reposting and this training video. Thank you. These videos are helping you on your SAP FICO training journey. Please like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment in the chat. Let me know how many years of SAP FICO experience you have. Thank you all for your time. Until next time, peace.